regardless of that, I just thought that it was our last game. I thought it was going to be fitting that it was going to be Chicago versus Minnesota.
Uh,
Um, because this is one of the few with so much on the line for both teams. I mean,
mhm.
there's other Kansas City versus New Orleans that is going to be big for each other's race, but at least that's AFC versus NFC. And
Mhm.
I think there's another game in there that I was looking at a second ago that, yeah, Seattle and Washington. But again, that's Seattle trying to go for a wild card versus Washington going for to win its division. Whereas Chicago and Minnesota are battling for the exact same wild card spot, that number 7. And it
Mhm.
makes this game super interesting. And why I almost wanted to deal with it after the Houston game is because for us, truthers about Mitchell Trubisky, that was our worst nightmare seeing what Houston did to
Yeah.
him the other day because, oh my God, like he just like he was phenomenal in it really early. You know, he looked like it. Like write Houston off all you want. We
Mhm.
didn't. We picked them to win that game.
Mhm.
And look, when we were previewing that the other day, I did mention that Chicago was home and hosed against Detroit the week earlier until Mitchell Trubisky fumbled the ball. And I bring that back up now, not to say, oh, I was trying to hedge my bets or whatever, but because the offensive numbers have actually been improving since Mitchell Trubisky went back in
Mhm.
terms of the likes of pass rating, points per game. The rushing game has even improved when he's been in there. I mean, it's all good signs for Chicago right now. And meanwhile, the defense is coming off that performance when they sacked Deshaun Watson 6 times. And it means that they're coming off a game that could potentially have turned their season and, thrown them into that wild card, like believably throw them into that wild card race. Whereas before we were like, how are these guys hanging around as they're doing? And it certainly makes this week's game, at the very least, exciting because someone else coming off their own 6 sack performance is Kirk Cousins, who was, yeah, I guess obliterated the other day. And then you're going to worry when this Bears pass rush is coming up because Kirk Cousins can't operate if he's on the ground. And when he was on the ground the other day, that forced, like we were saying earlier on, Dan Bailey in to kick field goals, which he wasn't able to do. So it seems that Minnesota is forever cursed with its kicking game. And if that's going to be playing a role now, against the Bears defense, they're having tryouts this week. The likes of Chandler Catanzaro, who's failed with a few teams since playing well with Arizona, like what, 3 or 4 years ago at this point, and Mike Zimmer being non-committal as of right now. We don't know will they have signed someone by the time this is released. Maybe that's going to be updated, but right now Mike Zimmer is being non-committal. He says that I don't know his word now. I won't put words into his mouth, but I don't know. I think this game sets up as a bit of a game in the week. It's a big time matchup with the wildcard spot on the line. They're 6 and 7 each. This has to be a title eliminator, or
Mhm.
sorry, a playoff eliminatory later. Yeah, I just who would have guessed it? We were high in this Minnesota's Vikings offense for long enough, but there's enough there in Chicago's defense to upset it. If Mitchell Trubisky can step up, because I don't think that he's playing just because he has a chip on his shoulder or anything like that. You don't, like, if your career is in jeopardy and on the line, you don't suddenly just perform because there's scrutiny on you. You would have turned it on a long time before now. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm going with Minnesota, but
Mhm.
Chicago's the hot hand, and I should be riding that. It's a tough game to pick.
It is really tough, and when we do these schedules before we do the show, I instantly looked like, okay, where's the Chicago Minnesota game? Please tell me I got it. I wanted this game so bad because Mark, I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is the game I'm most looking forward to this weekend, which it feels insane to say, but it's true because it is a playoff eliminator. Whoever wins this game is going to be in the driver's seat for that final wild card spot against the Arizona Cardinals, and we'll get to their game next, to the last game. But yeah, whoever loses, your season's done. You're not making it. It's as simple as that. And Mark's right. Trubisky has been playing better, and I've been saying it for weeks. Minnesota's finding a way to throw away games. God, this was a tough game for me to pick. I'm riding the hot hand. I'm taking Chicago, Mark. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, excellent! Now that's super exciting that we've gone on. I suppose for different teams this week. I must pull back up. David's gone for Minnesota as well, so
Island,
you've gone
baby.
on an island. I'm upset that I don't get to go on my island because I picked earlier on. I was like, no, it has to be the New England Miami game, but all of a sudden you're going on them, and yeah, plenty for you to get excited about. Whereas I'll be looking at who the upsets are going to be this week, and I think that I've picked them all in a bad way.